Good morning, my dear friends. I hope that you are feeling beautiful today. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about self care and how often in our busy world, when we're moving so fast, maybe we have a job and a career, or a career and a family, friends, people who rely on us, and various other extracurricular activities, maybe in school, right? All these different things that are going on in our lives, we often forget to take care of ourselves, or we let our self-care be put on the back burner. So it's like, okay, I was going to go take a walk, but I got busy and these things happened. Or I really want to go, get a massage, but I don't have time for that. Or, I really just need a day off, but I don't have time for that. I've got too many things to do and too many responsibilities, too many people to rely on me. There are so many ways that we get out of taking care of ourselves and put ourselves in situations that require more of us. But the real truth is, we can't show up for the life that we're here to live. We can't show up for anyone else unless we've first shown up for ourselves, unless we've first taken care of ourselves and tended to our own gardens and made sure that we are okay. Because if we're not okay, then we're not actually doing the best that we can in any situation. We're not bringing our full authentic self to the table. We're not, by not honoring ourselves, we're becoming depleted, and then we can't actually even be efficient in a situation. And I mean, I know this so well, because for so long I was just going, 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 going. I mean, I was just speeding through life as if it was this really, really massive sprint race, and I needed to get to the finish line. And so I was always putting more and more on my plate, always adding more things for me to have to do, always just trying to get to some destination, and never really slowing down to take care of myself, but just speeding really fast through everything. And this moving super fast and filling my plate and doing far more than I actually had the energy for, I was really just a way for me to avoid how I was feeling inside. It was a way for me to avoid the sensations and emotions and memories and feelings that would come up when I would get slow and move slower and slow down. And so for a really long time, I did this. I mean, for a really long time. And it took a toll on my body. It took a toll on my mental health, and it took a toll on the people around me, in the family and my family, because not only was kind of falling apart, but because I was falling apart, I was just exuding and sending out all this negative energy and kind of resentment that I was always so busy and never had time for myself, and sending that out into my relationships. And, you know, I was going to, I would always, like, in there, I always had this excuse. I'm like, well, I ride my bike. That was my like, that's how I take care of myself. I ride my bike. But really, riding my bike, while I love riding my bike and it brings me immense joy, for quite a while, it became this thing that, again, I just had to do. It was part of my schedule. It wasn't actually something I was doing to take care of myself. It was a part of my schedule. It was a part of my identity, and I had to do it along with every other task and responsibility. And so I actually ended up with resentment towards my bicycle, which is, kind of wild. And I had to stop riding my bike for quite some time, in as a way of honoring truly what I needed to take care of myself. And so when we do this, when we make excuses, when we pile things on our plate, we're really just avoiding taking care of ourselves in the deepest of ways. So, this is more than just getting a massage, just going for a walk, just, taking the day off. This is really deeply caring for our bodies and our minds and our spirits. So looking within and really caring and saying, right now, what do I feel? What am I feeling? We don't hardly ever in our society you really dive into what we're feeling. Like even when you ask someone how you're doing, the automatic, oh, I'm good, or I'm fine, or kind of things are kind of sucky right now. But it's not really like, hey man, how you feeling today? Like, how are you really feeling? When we ask those questions, it's almost like we just expect this really quick response of, oh, I'm good, things are fine, okay, I slept okay. But really, when we get into it and we dive into it, it's like, how are we really feeling? And those are the questions that we need to not necessarily, be asking everyone, because that's not what this conversation is about, but really asking ourselves, how am I feeling? What emotions are coming up in my body? If I am piling things on my plate and I'm feeling depleted and overwhelmed, what does taking a day off feel like? Okay, if I'm taking a day off, does it feel like, I'm not going to make enough money, or I'm not going to do this? Well, where are those thoughts coming from? Are these are the stories that we've told ourselves about the life that we have and the way that we live in lack, or that we don't have that time because other people are relying on us, so we put so much pressure on ourselves to show up for other people, but we don't show up for ourselves? So we have to dive into those emotions of how we're feeling. Why is it that we don't want to slow down? Why is it that we don't want to take a day off and just relax or rest or go on a long, hike? What is it that's stopping us from taking care of ourselves? So those are the deep questions we have to start investigating, looking within, turning within, feeling the emotions, like really feeling the emotions and letting them, and really working on letting them go. I mean, this is not an overnight process, right? Like letting things go doesn't just happen like that. I mean, it actually can, but it doesn't always. And we shouldn't, put pressure on ourselves in another way that, oh, I just have to get over this. Oh, I have to just let this go, right? Those are other things that we do. No, we have to feel it to let it go, right? It's like that saying, feel it to heal it. And so anytime we're moving too fast, anytime we're finding ourselves depleted or overwhelmed, anytime we're making up stories, or not really making up, telling ourselves stories and making up excuses of why we don't have enough time, of why we have to do a certain thing, this is an opportunity to really go within and see what our body is really telling us about the situation. What are we really feeling? What are we really running from? What are we trying to escape from? Where are we trying to go? I mean, we're like, we all are here on this planet together, and it's time that we really start encouraging each other and stepping up in the sense of like, hey man, I want you to take care of yourself. And so if someone comes to me and is like, oh, I need to I can't do that thing today, I just need to take care of myself, I'm like, please do. And even when I was teaching, whenever I'm teaching in a semester and my students are like, I need a day just for self-care, I'm like, yeah, please do, because we need to take care of ourselves. Okay. And we need to show up for ourselves. And then we need to be honoring other people when they show up and say, hey, I need a day of self-care. I need a day to feel. I need a day to cry. We call these mental health days, but it's not just a mental health day. It's a body health day. We've got to feel. Thinking ourselves in circles around things will only put us further into the crisis that we're feeling a lot of the time. So we've got to feel, we've got to get into our bodies, and we've got to really, really work with ourselves. And that, I think, is when we still start to really honor our own self-care, is when we get in there and we're willing to look at the pain, and we're willing to have the courage to feel the pain so we can let it go. And so this, of course, these are always invitations for you to kind of see, where can you bring more self-care into your life? Where can you bring more love into your life, right? How can you show more love to your body? If you need a day off just to relax and rest and rejuvenate, what's stopping you from taking that? If you need, an afternoon where you just go on a walk so you can feel and process and just be present with yourself, what's stopping you? I mean, what is really the excuses you're telling yourself to stop you from doing these things that could bring you great benefit? I mean, and really, if you need a massage or you want a massage because you know that that's part of your self-care, like that makes you feel good and that helps you to, let go of emotions or really tune into those really positive emotions in your body. Well, what's stopping you from getting the massage? Like where can you find a way to make these things happen for yourself? We've got to make time. We have to make space in our lives for ourselves. And it's crazy that we have to say that. I don't really like the word crazy, but it's wild that we have to say that I have to make time for myself. But a lot of the time, I know, especially when I was running super fast and not slowing down for anything, I had to make time for myself. And now self-care is just, it's part of my life. It's become a part of my way of being. But for a long time, it really was making time for myself. And so if that's where you're at, how can you make time for yourself? Or if you've been making time for yourself, how can you make this even more a part of your life? So that's all for today. If you have any comments on what it is that you like to do for your own self-care, I'd love to hear about them. You can leave them in the comments below. And until next time, lots of love from my heart to yours. Namaste, my friend.